Well, going into this pandemic, nobody knew what the numbers would be like. We didn't know how easy it was to transmit. We didn't know how many would die. A lot of us, including on this show, assumed the worst. Now with more testing, it has become much clearer who is actually threatened by the virus and who is not. People under 50, for example, appear to be at very little risk, and that includes the vast majority of America's prisoners. Across 4 American states, 3,277 inmates have tested positive for the coronavirus. 96% of them have not shown any symptoms at all. Despite that, some politicians are exploiting this disaster to continue their longstanding demands that criminals go free, even as you are harassed by authorities for leaving your home. On MSNBC over the weekend, Nancy Pelosi explained that prisoners must go free, all of them. Why? It's not because they'll ever endanger Pelosi herself, who is safely ensconced on her estate in Napa. No, it's because of the Bible.
In our caucus, we are very devoted to the Gospel of Matthew. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was homeless, you sheltered me. When I was in prison, you visited me. And so this, for us, is a part of our value system.
Meanwhile, the only person in America, apparently, who's going to prison is Roger Stone. He is scheduled to go this week for the crime of having the wrong political views. That's real. We'll bring you more on that when he does, if he does. Meanwhile, in Congress, Senator Cory Booker has introduced a bill that would end all detention for immigration offenses as long as the coronavirus exists. He wants to fight a virus spread by international travel by instituting de facto open borders. He's a very serious person. But it's not just about immigration or immigration offenders. Deadly criminals are going free as well. In New York, a man accused of rape was just let go as a preventative measure. Not clear what they were trying to prevent, not rape, because 10 days later he was arrested for attempting to rape another woman. In Pennsylvania, 2 prisoners were released from the state's supermax prison, and many more, including violent criminals, were released from maximum security facilities. Crime rates are going up. In Washington, D.C., they've gone way up. They may be lying about it, but it's real. In Washington State, there are plans to release a man accused of fatally running over a woman, then fleeing the scene. This is lunacy. Congressman Matt Gaetz is introducing legislation to deport detained illegal aliens instead of releasing them into our country. He joins us tonight. Amazing you'd even, Congressman, thanks for joining us, amazing you would even have to propose a piece of legislation like this. Why are you doing this?
Well, the problem with Nancy Pelosi's statement is that we aren't visiting the prisoners. Under her plan, they'd be visiting us. Just imagine the post-coronavirus world that the left is trying to create. They want COVID catch and release on the border. That's the Cory Booker bill that you described. They want to move cell block C into our neighborhoods, and then they want Americans stuck at home waiting for some inefficient government system to deliver a check, while the place where we used to work is shut down waiting for another Chinese swab to be delivered so we can enter phase 3. So my idea is, instead of releasing criminal illegal aliens into our communities, we should deport them immediately. That's why I filed the Pandemic Act. And you know what, Tucker? That's what Mexico does. Right now, Mexico is seeing success curbing illegal immigration because they are immediately deporting people as a consequence of coronavirus. I think we should love our country at least as much as Mexico loves theirs.
Of course. This is totally unrelated to love of country. In fact, you'd have to despise your country, I would think, to propose the legislation Booker has. What do you think the agenda is here exactly? Why is he doing this?
This is part virtue signaling, but this is the left using the coronavirus to try to have all of the social engineering that they seek. They really do want a world where there are no borders, where American taxpayers have to provide for everyone in the world, whether they follow our laws or not. And just think, as the Republicans and President Trump were working to provide provision to American workers and the American businesses and people, you had the left saying that they had to hold back to gain leverage for their agenda. We shouldn't just be horrified that they would use coronavirus for leverage. We should be frightened by the actual agenda that they're trying to execute, where MS-13 is getting the moving van moving north. At the same time, you've got them inviting their cousins from prison to come live in the subdivision next to you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is living in the subdivision next to Nancy Pelosi, and I think people should be. I think these measures should apply to the people who promote them, but they don't, of course. Congressman, thanks a lot
that would
for
be
that
interesting.
and for what you're doing.
Thanks, Tucker.